How's it going, Yankee fans? Welcome back to Fireside Yankees with your boys, Alex and Ryan. Today, we are talking about one super slugger at the minor league level in AAA that has been electric, and we're going to talk about why he would be a good promotion right now. Obviously, red hot. We talked about Jake Bauers a couple days ago and why we thought he could make an impact offensively. Had a 2-run blast yesterday. He's had a couple of homers, making an impact in specific games. His overall numbers aren't great, but he's had a couple of nice hits and made some decent contact. And obviously, he can support in the outfield a little bit. He's been a little bit inconsistent at times, but otherwise has made a couple of nice plays. But right now, the Yankees are coming off 2 wins. Oakland Athletics, very bad, and their hitters have been able to capitalize on this weak opponent. And I kind of feel like Oakland's our sacrificial lamb right now. They're kind of doing us a service, getting us back on track, building our confidence before we have to take on the Tampa Bay Rays over a 4-game series, and we're getting healthier. You get Judge back yesterday. He just, all 3 of those at-bats, and the first 3 at-bats could have been homers. He just missed all of those. So you're going to see him probably get a little bit used to it today, maybe get a little bit more comfortable in the batter's box after taking a couple days off, seeing the ball a little bit more efficiently, and then hopefully capitalize that and turn it into some production against the Rays, which we desperately needed his support, and then hopefully the pitching is better too. But you know what? Aaron Hicks goes down yesterday running the bases, says he has discomfort in his lower body. We'll see what happens with that, but he could be placed on the 10-day IL, and if that does happen, even Willie Calhoun, I don't know where he's been for the last 5 or 6 days, but even maybe he's injured and can hit the IL. If that is the case, we want to talk about a DH option, Andreas Chaparro, one of Ryan's favorite prospects, and definitely a favorite of our podcast, and I know he's really cool with us, and Ryan has been in contact with him over the last couple of years, and super great guy, and we're really rooting for him. We want to break down his stuff this year, what he's been doing. The most recent statistics indicate he is on absolute fire, and we're excited to discuss why he could be a nice promotion for this team. Ryan, before we dive into it, how you do today, my friend?
I'm doing great. One of the big things you're mentioning here is that the Yankees kind of have a rotating door at DH. And that's another big thing here is they're nursing a bunch of injuries. So, obviously people are not going to look at Aaron Hicks as a big injury, but he is still someone going on the IL potentially. That does matter, right? And as you mentioned, that does affect, what the Yankees are going to do with their promotions and all that stuff. And look, I get it. Franchi Cordero's on the 40-man roster. I get it. That would be the easy thing to do. If someone is hurt, just call up Franchi Cordero. But I want to win baseball games, right? I think that's something that people kind of overlook at times. People are like, well, we should make the easy roster decision. Well, I want to make the right one to win games, right? Sometimes you just need to win baseball games. And Andre Chaparro, no offense to AAA, no offense to the concept of development. This dude's ready. I don't know what he is defensively. He's probably more of a DH long-term first baseman, but it's piss missiles, right? His WOBA is 396. His WRC plus of 127 is good, but not elite. But, I don't know how I'm pretty sure park adjustments in AAA are a little bit wonky anyways. He's killing the baseball, right? If you look back at his last 65 games going back into last year when he returned from the IL in AA, he has 21 home runs in his last 25 games, and he's also striking out under 20% of the time. That's the big thing here. He's not a guy who's going to swing and miss a ton. He knows the strike zone. He's working walks a decent clip, and he absolutely crushes the baseball. In AAA, he has a batted ball of almost 115 miles an hour. Guys, this is 70 grade raw power, right? This is a guy who's going to, I know Fangraphs has it 45-50. That's a load of BS, right? You don't have 45-50 raw power and you can hit a ball 115 miles an hour and consistently get high exit velocities, right? To me, that's BS. The dude can absolutely hammer the baseball. The Yankees need a spark offensively. Their DH is a rotating door. To me, it doesn't make much sense to go to anyone else if someone goes down. Let's say it's Aaron Hicks, or as you mentioned, Calhoun's been out of the lineup lately. I wonder what the deal with that is. But you want to have your best players up. This is a team trying to win games. This is a team trying to go to the postseason. This is a team trying to get a high seeding in the postseason so that they don't have to, put themselves at a disadvantage, right? Even if they don't win the division, you don't want to be the wild card 3. If you're the wild card 3, you got to go on the road somewhere and play. Actually, you might want to be the wild card 3 because you can go on the road and play like the Twins or something like that. But you don't want to be wild card 2, go into Toronto having to take, play 3 games, right? I know that people may not look at Toronto as, an elite team, but they're a pretty good team. They've taken 2 or 3 of us already this year, and Toronto's not a great place to play. That's a pretty tough environment. So, a lot of this has to do with just Chaparro's ability to absolutely mash the baseball. You can figure out the defense aspect of it in the major leagues. You can figure out what he is, what he's good at, what he's not. You figure out how the mix or how the match with Stanton is when Stanton gets back, right? But for now, if Hicks goes down, if Calhoun goes down, if someone is, nursing an injury, Andre Chaparro gives them the best shot to win, right? This dude, again, he's just mashing the baseball. Everything's going well for him right now. And he's continued a trend of just destroying baseballs and being an elite level hitter at the minor league level for 2 years now, or excuse me, the third year now. He's 24. He's not too young, not too old. It's not like he's like a 28-year-old dominating in AAA. That would have been a concern with like a Jake Bauers type where it's like he's been in AAA for a very long time. Chaparro just got here, and he's already nuking it. He's already one of the best hitters the Yankees have at the AAA level. So there's really no reason not to give him the call, in my opinion.
Yeah, look, I wrote about Andre Chaparro this morning, and the reality is, defensively his identity isn't really refined just yet, but he can serve a DH role because the team doesn't have Stanton right now. As long as Stanton is out, this is a perfect opportunity for a guy like Chaparro to supplement that power. As you get 70 grade power, this dude is absolutely mashing, and to give you some context, he's hitting 281 with a 351 OBP this season. He started out really slow, but his numbers have just been skyrocketing recently. 587 slugging percentage, has a 127 WRC plus in AAA, indicating he's 27% better than the average AAA player, has 10 homers and 26 RBIs across 31 games, right? But he didn't have a hit for first 8 games of the season, but after that, he's been absolutely electric. In his last 3 games, he has 2 homers with 10 RBIs and 9 hits. That's 3 game statistics, 10 RBIs, 9 hits. He had 5 hits last night for the Patriots against the Kansas City Royals AAA affiliate. He's currently on a 6-game hitting streak. He has 5 hits in his last 5 at-bats yesterday. In his last 20 games, guys, he has gone 4 games without recording a hit. Just 4 games in his last 20 games, he hasn't recorded a hit, and he has 8 multi-hit games in that time span. He has double the amount of multi-hit games than games he hasn't recorded a hit over his last 20 games. So it's like you're looking at a player that is just progressively getting better. He has a 23.1% strikeout rate right now, but I imagine, Ryan, you would agree that if you take out that beginning sample size of that first week or so where he was really struggling, I believe that we're probably looking at, probably in the last 25 games, a strikeout rate in the 15% range. He hasn't struck out in his last 3 games where he's had 9 hits, almost has a 10% walk rate to boot. So you're looking at a player who's getting on base, he's not striking out, he's hitting freaking nukes, and he's driving runners in and scoring position. That one of the biggest problems for this Yankee team right now is driving runners in and scoring position. And it's against the Oakland Athletics, it's easy because they have one of the worst pitching staffs in the MLB. But when you're up against better talent, we have been really unable to produce with RISP. And I believe that Andre Chaparro has that quality. My question for you is this. Do you think his game translates to the MLB level? Because obviously AAA, we've seen a lot of players dominate at that level. Florial's having a good year again with the AAA affiliate. You see Cole Calhoun's killing it, more of a veteran there. He's one of your guys. You see Elijah Dunham's having a decent year to start. There's some players who just do better at the AAA level. Why do you think that his game translates well to the MLB? Especially because he's not a lefty, and in Yankee Stadium, how do you kind of view his production mirroring, what he's doing in AAA, and can he supplement that Stanton kind of style, I guess, and just being a slugger and hitting home runs oppo?
Yeah, one of the big things that, I think is really important for us to talk about when it comes to Andre Chaparro is his ability to pull the ball in the air and pull the ball consistently, which I think is something that's going to allow his game to translate at the major league level. You mentioned the strikeout rate coming down recently, right? He's starting to make more contact. If you look at the strikeout rate on the season, right? It's below 24%, right? 23.1% is solid. It's not, elite. It's not an elite contact tool, but it's pretty solid. He's kind of hovered around the low 20% numbers for strikeout rates. When you pull the ball, that typically means you're making earlier swing decisions, right? And earlier swing decisions means, you're going to chase more. You're typically going to swing and miss more because you're deciding to swing on a pitch a lot earlier, right? You can't let it track as much. You can't let it, track to the plate. That's something LeMahieu does very well, but LeMahieu's game isn't predicated on pulling the ball. Chaparro, however, not only registers those high exit velocities, but he's also pulling the ball effectively without sacrificing too much in terms of swing and miss, right? And that's really important because pulled barrels and pulled fly balls are the best type of batted ball, right? A pulled barrel is very likely to go for a home run. If we look at pulled barrels, they average 380 feet of distance, and that's been the case for the last 5 years. So it's not like it's a new baseball, an old baseball thing. They've changed the baseballs a lot over the last 5 years, and yet it's been consistent. Pulled barrels get the job done, right? So for Andre Chaparro, if he's able to consistently get pulled barrels, That'll play at whatever level he plays at. That'll play with whatever baseball, Major League Baseball decides to throw into the mix. And it'll make him a real force, right? Not only does he have the raw power, but he has the ability to pull the ball in the air. He's going to hit a lot of home runs doing that, right? Is he going to go out there and is he going to steal 30 bags? No. Is he a defensive mastermind? Not in the slightest, right? But there's one thing he can do, and it's mash, right? And I think that's the most important thing for this team right now. They have a lot of defense-first guys. They don't really have an offense-first guy outside of Giancarlo Stanton, right? Stanton's really the only guy you think of as like, okay, this guy's really only bat and nothing else, right? And I'm not saying that to say that guys who are good at offense and defense are bad players or not a player the Yankees should look at, but it's okay for the Yankees to add another bat first guy, right? They have room for that, right? They have plenty of defense first guys, and I think his game will translate extremely well because, again, pulling the ball in the air already generates high exit velocities, doesn't have too high of a strikeout percentage, and he's able to work walks at a decent clip as well. I can already imagine him hitting, sixth or fifth in this lineup, and giving them a spark they need, right? It's not like he's just a guy you can use against lefties either. He's pretty effective versus right-handed pitching as well, and he's just a confident guy. Like, this is just a dude who can mash, right? And this team just needs a guy who can hit the ball in the air and hit the ball 400 feet into left field that isn't named Aaron Judge or Giancarlo Stanton. They need another guy in there like that, and I think Chaparral can be that for them.
Yeah, absolutely. But guys, I'd love to hear perspectives below on this specific topic. Andre Chaparral is definitely an exciting young prospect we are very high on. We're excited to see at the next level. It's just a matter of when is he going to get that opportunity. And I believe the Yankees, if they do have some more IL situations, could leverage him and could utilize that hot streak he's on right now to see if he can contribute at the MLB level. Look, when you look at the roster, IKF, some of these guys who just aren't really producing offensively, you might as well give this guy a chance because who's your DH going to be? Like Bowers or Chaparral? Like what is the logical difference between those two guys? Bowers, yes, he has MLB experience, but Chaparral's red hot and he doesn't have MLB experience. And those two guys, you look at Bowers' overall numbers, they're not very good, but he does have a few games where he's been excellent. So I feel like the Yankees might be smart to give Chaparral a chance, but the question is, what is their plan for the DH spot? If Willie Calhoun and Hicks go to the IL, I would definitely hope to see Chaparral, at least one of their prospects, get the chance to perform at the MLB stage, and that would be really awesome because Chaparral is a great guy. And we're rooting for him big time. But as I said, make sure to leave your comments, and we'll have good conversations in the YouTube section. As always, make sure to like and subscribe. Leave a 5-star review on Apple and Spotify if you are so kind. We got a matinee game today, so we're excited about that. Hopefully can clean up this sweep against the Oakland A's before we head over and play I think they're coming to us, actually, the Tampa Bay Rays in the Bronx for a 4-game series. So we're pretty excited about that. Would love to win that series because the Rays, they're a good team this year, but I feel like we had their number. I feel like we could have beat them. We could have won that series, and we were not fully healthy. We're still not fully healthy, but I feel like we have a good chance against them in the near future. But as I said, like and subscribe. We'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Yankees episode.